Hello. This is episode 35, and we are back with a special episode, actually. But first of all,
Yeah.
how are we? As my usual
Sunburn.
greeting.
Good.
Oh, were you out walking?
I was sitting in a very windy beer garden that I didn't realise was as sunny as it was.
Well, speaking of beer, I'm a bit hungover today, so I'll be on the H2O for the proceedings. But yeah,
I've
this is
consumed
episode.
enough alcohol for the month already, and it's the second.
Someone's finished mine, so
I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a motorbike just started outside my window.
Lovely. I'm sure the birds will be about outside mine at some point.
Yeah, it's annoying because they've been sitting washing cars and such all day, and then as soon as we start recording, he's wanting to do donuts in the street. So
Anyway,
yeah, we have teased this episode for a while. This is our league reconstruction special. We are going to look at why we think it's necessary and how we think it should work. Should the Scottish leagues be reconstructed? So, this is Greg's baby. He's been working hard at it. So thank you very much for this, Greg.
you're very
It's a kind of
welcome.
a first attempt at using integrating different software. So this will be an insightful one for us as well. But yeah, I'm going to pass over to Gregory to get us started.
Yeah, so the kind of first segment we're going to talk about is kind of why we think it's necessary. So, are the Scottish leagues working? I initially said no, and then I watched the end of last season, and I think it's better than it has been. It's not been as bad as it could be, but I still think there's places where we think that it could benefit from some tweaks, right? So kind of the main one, which we all agreed on when we were asked kind of why we think, like, the main answer is we want to give opportunities to more clubs further down the pyramid.
Yeah, definitely. I agree on that.
Like, the further down you go, you had the juniors, and then the juniors got put into the SPFL to give them a platform to kind of move up the leagues, and the current structures don't really facilitate that. Is that
Yeah.
about fair?
I
Yeah,
would agree. Yeah,
another.
Especially, carry on.
Sorry, you go for it this one.
I was going to say, you look at like Darvel, who beat Aberdeen in the cup.
Yeah,
Because of the structures, I know Darvel didn't win their league, they ended up finished second, but even if Darvel had, they would have had to have played a three-way playoff to move into the Lowland League, and then a two-way playoff and a playoff against the team in 10th place in League Two to go
it's a
into League
joke.
Two. And there's some big clubs down there.
Definitely, and that's even before the Lowland League.
Yeah, that's like beyond the Lowland League.
yeah.
So yeah, so we're going to be looking at that. Another view we all kind of shared when we had our discussion beforehand was to get rid of the B teams.
Yes,
And
carry on.
since we kind of started discussing this in the process, the B teams have been the vote was rejected for that conference league that they were wanting to introduce. I don't know if I've talked about that before.
Yeah, I don't think we did talk about that
I
before.
thought we did. I could be wrong.
I think we maybe said we hoped they would be rejected.
Yeah, I think I made the joke saying that we discussed something and then something changes while we're recording. I think it was in the same kind of time as that was being discussed and voted on and such.
That is very true. And then, next year there's now going to be two B teams in the Lowland League.
The Rangers pulled out.
Because Rangers have since pulled out and threw their toys out the pram, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
As well. The other thing there as well is that, well, we said it needs to be made easier and fairer for the smaller teams to be able to move up in the division because it's currently really hard to do that. But also, in a similar vein, financial viability for the clubs in League Two. When you look at who's below you, the teams that are coming up because of these structures, like thinking Cove, Kelty, Bonnyrigg not so much, but Bonnyrigg have struggled.
Yeah.
Cove and Kelty have flew up the divisions because they've got money behind them.
Mm.
And like clubs in League Two, like small clubs, are looking over their shoulders.
Yeah. You can
That was a sneak preview of the Sunburn.
That gets revealed after 100 likes on this video.
I'll slap it.
If we get 100 likes, I get to slap Greg Sunburn when I see him next. It might be
Jack's will be gone by then.
I'll still slap you anyway.
Do you know, I'll go down to Cardiff and do it myself.
And what I was going to say, so there's a few teams kind of on the verge and I think should be up. The likes of East Kilbride, they've been threatened for years, but just quite haven't done what's needed. I think it could be their year this year with McKennedy getting the job. And Simon Ferry, formerly of Open Goal Broomhill, is getting the assistant.
Yes. You've got the Highland clubs as well. So
yeah,
you've kind of got Brora, who've been teetering, and obviously beat Hearts in the Scottish Cup a few years ago. Spartans finally done it.
Yeah. Sorry.
And I'll be in League 2 this season. There's Brechin, who went down, tried really hard last year.
Trinent. Don't know if they were out there.
Trinent went from the East of Scotland League into the Lowland League, and then they struggled they almost got out this year. That's another one who's kind of gone. That's the other thing, right? There's an imbalance at the minute where there's bigger, kind of more well-backed clubs. Some would say better clubs in the league below the Highland and the Lowland League, especially in the Lowland League. The Highland League, not so much. There's a great difference in quality there. But in the Lowland League, you've got teams coming into the East and West of Scotland who are immediately pushing for promotion because the bottom end of that league isn't particularly good.
Yeah. And then you've had a few historic clubs, I would say, that have dropped out the Lowland League. We look at Dalby Star and Vale of Leithen, and I think they were founding members of the Lowland League.
You do, but then Vale of Leithen, I think, got relegated out of the East of Scotland this year, or they were definitely very close to it. So that's an example there for me of a club that probably now needs to restore to where it really should be, which is a bit further down beyond some of those bigger clubs.
Yeah. Oh well, it's interesting nonetheless.
But yeah, the other end of the spectrum, a bigger top flight.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, we all agreed on that when we discussed it, didn't we?
Yeah. We need to make this fairer for everyone. The split works. I think the split's great. The split's like one of the best bits of drama for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a point we made in discussion as well was that obviously the Scottish football authorities seem to be hesitant on altering anything because the current way we get 4 Old Firms, and that's why Sky are paying the money, which I don't think is as much as it should be anyway. But they won't do anything about it, so they can still give Sky their Old Firms and get the money from the Old Firms.
Because they think that's what sells. Like the TV fixtures have now been picked for the month of August for the new season, and it's 2 Celtic games and a Rangers game. It could be 1 each in the Old Firm. Could be what's been picked for the month of August.
Yeah.
Which,
well, did you see? I meant to note it down. I should have done the proper stats, but it's like they counted. Obviously, fans through the gate in the Premier League, the Scottish Premier League this year, it's been like the most ever, and it's in terms of percentages to stadiums and teams and such. It's like one of the higher percentages in Europe.
We have a good product. We just don't market it to other people as well as we could. You get the derision from English people of who wants to watch Aberdeen versus Dundee. I want to watch Aberdeen versus Dundee. I don't want to watch an English League One game. I want to watch a Scottish Premiership game.
Yeah, Premiership for a reason.
Because things are English based, so it's big England games.
And you look at people like Viaplay and BT in the past who do care about the Scottish game. It's just difficult to break that Sky deal down.
Yeah, I also think like there was Kel saying is English based, and the kind of a phrase thrown around as Farmers League. But when you see that, I think Scotland don't get enough credit. You see the national teams coming on. I mean, to bring it up, Rangers got to another European final. Yeah. So I think the quality is definitely improving, and I think it's improving across the Premier League. But I think this reconstruction idea we've got would definitely enhance that.
They'll make your Old Firm special again, because there's 2 rather than 10 in a season.
Well, that depends on how this goes and exactly.
Someone hasn't read the notes.
I have tried to, we'll get to that very quickly at the start of this before we show you what we've done. We have there are areas where I've had to compromise from, what we'd probably all do to where, there's compromises to be made. At the bottom of the Premiership as well, you end up with a playoff that I've moaned about countless times. It's so favoured and heavy of the Premiership club.
100%.
Am I right in thinking it's only twice? I'm pretty sure it's only twice that a team has actually came up through the playoffs.
That was 4.
Is it 4?
Sure
I can think of 2 of the teams who've done it, which are Hamilton and Livy. I can't think of the others. Hibs went down, did they not? Or did they go up through the playoffs as well?
I'm sure they came up as well. Livingston
the
done it
cup
once,
as
I'm
well.
sure.
Yeah, Livingston
I'm sure
definitely
there's,
did
I'm sure
it.
there's 4.
And then
I'm sure there's
Hamilton
4.
relegated Hibs. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, it's still the stats aren't very high in
And
any
also,
sense.
if you finish 4th in the championship, you've got how many games to play? It's really difficult.
8.
Yeah,
Well, Partick really did it this year. Maybe they didn't, but
Yeah,
should have.
oh, so close.
exactly. And then down into the championship and League One and stuff, we as Queens fans know that 4 times a season, is it really exciting? You play with the same 9 clubs
Yeah,
4 times.
I think it loses its touch after you've played them twice.
Oh, but just in the TV thing, today they announced Alba are showing 10 games from League One. BBC Alba.
It was
Which
more
you'd
than
like
that.
you'd like to think would be a home game from each
Isn't
club,
very many.
but I doubt it.
Yeah, well, that'll probably be like a Friday night job. It's 12 games.
12.
Only
12.
one for each.
Well, you'd like to think it wouldn't be a Friday night because the BBC Scotland show the championship game, and we want to avoid a clash so we can watch both.
True, actually.
Maybe a
Might end
Sunday
up being a
night.
5:30.
Oh, Saturday night.
Did we know? Because
Or Saturday
missed
lunchtime.
this. I've missed this. Are they being like cast live? Because I know the Scottish. I know Alba at the minute also record like a Premiership game and then show it as live later on in the day.
Do they?
They definitely
Imagine.
used to.
I'm
And
not sure.
the last thing I kind of wrote on our wish list is to kind of facilitate this. The prize money needs to be a bit more equal.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
There is. I found a quote from a Brora chairman a few years ago to say that you get 40 grand for finishing bottom of League Two. You're lucky if you get 4 grand for winning the Highland League.
That's a joke.
It needs to be a bit more egalitarian because as well, you get to the kind of top ends where you're now top 3 teams in Scotland are guaranteed some sort of European football.
Yeah.
And there's no need for Celtic and Rangers and whoever else gets it, but it's likely to be them two. Whoever finishes in the top 3, especially the top 2, are getting Champions League and Europa League money hoisted at them. So why do they need the extras from our deal?
Yeah. I agree. Well, how much do you say the Lowland League winners get?
I can't find
Approximately.
exact figures. I can find exact figures for all the SPFL, and then it gets murky.
Yeah.
And the high
But even still, I don't even know if the figure you said would be feasible for them to actually run efficiently for the whole year. It would probably, because it's expensive. It's an expensive game. So
it is very expensive, and that reinforces
That's why they're
that
all part
divide.
time.
Yeah,
it's 12 games, so that would be what a game each and then 2 spare at home. But
yeah.
All of your league leaders.
then you're exciting games at the end.
Yeah, we will see what they do.
Interesting, but it's good nonetheless.
Yes.
The Alba coverage is interesting because they speak in
Gaelic.
I was getting
Gaelic.
Gaelic. No, I thought it was Gaelic. Yeah.
Oh, it was Gaelic.
Gaelic's Irish, isn't it? Speaking Gaelic, and then you get the Scottish guy just starts speaking English. Cammy Bell was the prime example when the Annan were on it, I'm sure.
Still coverage nonetheless.
But
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
That kind of summarises where we want to go with this. So I think I'm going to do some sort of magic editing here, and we're going to move on to kind of what we've done. So, what we've done, as a keen fan of the Football Manager game, as many people who know me will know, I have had a go at doing something we kind of all like within the Football Manager world. Kind of started from last season, so I've kind of redone what we think a Scottish League could look like. So we'll kind of, for this first season, we'll show you what's happened after a year, and then kind of talk through what we've done at the same time. So this is the Premiership. Now play 37 games, I believe, at the minute. You play 33 plus 5, so you play 38. So it's a game less. But Celtic are champions, as was in real life. What a surprise. Rangers finishing 5 points behind them. Hibs in third and Motherwell in fourth. Hearts also getting Europa League, though, so that perhaps indicates that they were perhaps winners of a certain competition.
Ooh.
Spoiler.
But yeah, the idea of how this league works now, basically, it's the 12 teams from the Premiership and the top 4 who finished from the Championship in real life this season So you've got Ayr, who are there, Queen's Park, who finished in a respectable 13th, 3 points above the drop. Then you've got this very interesting situation at the bottom with 3 teams finishing on 34. Kilmarnock staying up with their goal difference, and the other 2 teams who've came up for the championship, Dundee and Partick Thistle, going down. But you play home and away, and then as a split, so you play the other 7 teams in your half, for a total of 37. That means we lose an Old Firm. We also, we lose one of every game, but that's the one that Sky cared about, so that's the one we'll highlight. And the 2 teams at the bottom go down from the bottom.
I much prefer that. I much prefer that to having like the second bottom team playing a playoff. I think that's much fairer.
Yeah, down you go, basically. Nice to see also former Queens man Connor Shields finishing 3rd top scorer in the Premiership for Queen's Park with 16 goals.
Same there in the bottom there, Barry Maguire. 8 yellow cards.
Yes.
Only Queens and all.
Fantastic for him. I'm looking
Jake
at this
Gordon
final
making
day.
a return after his injury.
Yes. Well, I think he probably wasn't injured because that happened during the season on this. But yeah, 16 clean sheets for him. Looking at the final day, so they all finished on 34. I don't think any of the bottom 3 teams won on the final day. They didn't. So that was a very anticlimax final day. All the teams lost. Aberdeen, though, were beaten by Livingston, and Motherwell only got a point against Rangers, so it was no difference. So the final day was pretty underwhelming, but the league as a whole seems to have done pretty well.
Aberdeen raging, losing it on the last day.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Had Aberdeen got 3 points, they would have got that Conference League place off Motherwell.
Yeah. They'd have been raged.
I'm just looking at Ross County having 56 points. So technically they finished 6th, but because they're the bottom half.
Because they played the teams that
were below them.
It looks like the teams at the bottom were a bit mince.
Pretty much, yeah.
He likes that phrase.
Yeah. I would say as well, from Wales, don't take the piss. One thing from the Welsh League is actually that one of the European places gets saved, and then there's a playoff system somehow, I don't quite know how it works, with the team that finishes bottom of the split. So the team that finishes kind of top of the second half of the split plays in some sort of playoff to get a European place, which is very weird, but quite interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will move us down into the Championship.
Ooh, this is what we want to see.
Inverness have won the league. Quite convincingly. So this is also 16 teams. It's the 6 remaining Championship sides and all 10 from League One. They simply play home and away. That's it. It's 6 less games than they do just now, but I've made the Challenge Cup fall on a Saturday to try and encourage some attendances. Other thing being, I know clubs will lose ticket money, but the prize money I've distributed much more fairly. So it should have less of an impact from ticket sales.
Yeah.
Kyle peering at the screen there to celebrate Clyde and Airdrie being relegated.
I'm just looking at the stats and that, see what's going on.
I wonder if Rhys McCabe's getting sacked.
I wonder if he is.
Or Jim Duffy.
I will have a quick look for you. Rhys McCabe was sacked. He was sacked in January.
Christ. Laurie Ellis didn't do very well.
And Laurie Ellis didn't do very well. In January, look at that run of results.
Huh. Did they win a game?
Their last win had came on the this obviously is the World Cup break in it as well. So their last win came on the 12th of November. And the new manager didn't do very well until, as usual, Queens gave them their token win.
I can't see that because user over my screen.
Who was the Queen's coach?
What's the Queen's stats?
Coach? I'll do that in 1 minute. I'll just go talk through the league first, then we'll have a quick look in Queens. So Inverness winning the title. If we look at the final day, Inverness winning on the final day secures them the title. Had they lost against Peterhead, then Arbroath would have took it. It would be good to see them in the Premiership. And then we are into the playoffs. So Arbroath, Morton, Cove and Hamilton in the playoffs. We had semi-finals where Arbroath beat Hamilton and Cove beat Morton, two-legged. And then the playoff final, as you will see, finished Cove Rangers 2, Arbroath 1,
And the man sent off.
with a man sent off. And then that's held at a neutral venue, so that was played in Dundee. So idea, take it from the English system, give them a neutral venue and try and kind of maximise some money to pool by getting the attendance up. We'll have a quick look at Queens. There's still, this kind of mid-table championship is still really competitive. There's kind of, 8 points between 3rd and 9th, which is interesting. Final day, I should also point out as well, Falkirk winning on the final day, Clyde getting beat, Airdrie drew, so, Clyde had the chance to stay out of that, and they didn't. Let's look at Queens. It is still Marvin Bartley.
That's good. Any
He's
new
been
players?
there the whole time. I can have a look at the transfers. There you go. That includes the ones that happened in real life. Rico Katongo, Shug, Michael Ruth, being some of those. There's Blair Alston, free in January from Kilmarnock.
Christ. Blast of the past.
Mason Hancock on loan from Aberdeen. Callum Crane, and a man we've paid some money for, a 32-year-old from Darvel.
Was there actually transfers out? Lewis Gibson, way to Leith.
Yes, he is, on a free transfer.
Unbelievable.
Jeez.
And
Gordy
Bottle.
Bottle.
Absolute.
Away to Ebbsfleet. Queen's finished 11th. Some kind of nice wins in September, but the form really dropping off towards the end of the season. There is 3 wins on the bounce there.
Attendance. Is that like average? I take it.
No, that's the attendance
game. Sorry,
for the specific game was 1,200, which isn't awful.
That's not bad. I never saw that, but I just thought it was the thing.
No, that's fine.
Anyway, that's fair.
Yeah, Queen's sadly losing out on penalties to Dumbarton in the Scottish Cup, and on extra time to Inverness in the 3rd round trophy. The League Cup, the group stage is gone, sad to let you know, and we lost 2-0 to Kelty in the first round of that cup.
Nottingham Forest in a friendly.
We did play Nottingham Forest in a friendly, and we lost that as well.
Everton as well.
Brennan Johnson and Morgan Gibbs-White starring at Palmerston, and Alex Womey, Seamus Cohen and Ellis Sims scoring for Everton.
3,000 attendance.
There was. So if we move into what I've called the National League, it's kind of bottom before Highland and Lowland Leagues now. Again, 16 teams, same format. We can see that it is Brechin who were put into this league for me to top it up to 16 teams who have raced away to the title.
Good on them.
4 first in row, Stirling and Elgin in the playoffs, and Stirling were the ones promoted out of that. But again, 4 points separating 4th and 9th. It's still pretty interesting and pretty even.
And finishing towards the bottom.
Towards the bottom, yeah. Dale Carrick scoring a ton of goals. Not a huge surprise there. What else is going on? Yes, Trinette and Stirling were also put in there to evidently make up the gap, and they've not done very well, have they?
Stirling made an absolute duck dinner of that.
Yeah. Was there one win against? Who was there one win against?
I think
one win was against. It was Bonnyrigg away.
I was going to say Bucky.
Yeah, it was Bonnyrigg away.
Trinette weren't much better, to be fair.
To be fair, they weren't. Their 2 wins were against Brora and East Fife. So the 2 teams at the bottom managed to draw against each other in their 2 games.
Sounds about right.
Crazy.
Yes, so that is that league. We'll keep an eye on kind of who ends up here from the Highland and Lowland Leagues. I can flick through the Highland and Lowland Leagues. So Fraserburgh won the Highland League title quite convincingly. 18 teams in this league just play each other twice. There are 3 relegated, and only the champions are promoted. No playoffs.
That's fair.
Still a bit of gatekeeping. Say that again?
No, I was going to say something really stupid, so I'm just going to leave it.
No, there's no stupid questions.
It is stupid. Clean sheets, Jamie Walker. I thought it was the same Jamie Walker that played for Hearts.
Oh, Christ.
Clean sheets. Then I realised, no, it's not.
And in the Lowland League, it's Cowdenbeath returning to the league by 12 points, quite convincingly. Dalbeattie Star and Abbey Vale both having absolute nightmares at the bottom. So the bottom three, basically, I'm not going to show you, but there's 6 divisions underneath this, as there are in real life. 3 for the Island, 3 for the Lowland, and they should just go in and then be really allocated. I'm not going to go into that in too much detail, just because basically beyond that level, when you try and do things by where people play in Football Manager, it mucks it all up.
Oh
but
yeah, I was going to add, one of the teams in that league, Kyle was repping a top, and I deliberately didn't say it at the tops earlier on.
Well, I'll see where they were for him,
You're
because
just not
this
going
should
to
be the
show it.
first season when it works properly. Let's rattle through these quickly.
Okay.
East of Scotland, Dundonald Bluebell. West of Scotland, Darvel do finish as champions. And the south of Scotland, Heston Rovers finished 3rd bottom.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to say. Is he going to show the top or not?
Yeah, I did.
Did you? Well,
Yeah, I
when
did
I said,
that.
do you want to show it? You just went like this.
No, because I'm trying to look
There
at
you
it.
go. St
Did-
Cuthbert beating
St Cuthbert's
Walker
done
to
well.
the title by a point there.
Yeah.
I won't show you the Highland ones. I will show you the Scottish Cup with Hearts beating Celtic on penalties.
Tasty. No, someone will be happy with that.
There you go. Joe Pyro equalising for Celtic with 2 minutes to go. And Harvey Vale on loan from Chelsea scoring the goal for Hearts. I'll have a quick look for you, Robert. We know how Queen's got on. There we go. The classic Old Firm semi-final at Hampden. Celtic
Every time.
dumping Rangers out in extra time. Clyde reaching the Scottish Cup semi-final there.
Bizarre.
It is
That
very
is bizarre.
The next cup is the cup that I have created basically to try and generate an extra game at the start of the season. Most European countries have a Super Cup, so now so does Scotland. Rangers winning the 0-1 with an Alfredo Morelos goal at Hampden. Basically held first day of the season, week before, same as in England. League Cup, I will need to go to the final, which again was in February. It was an Old Firm final this time, and Rangers losing that one to Celtic with a Jota goal. Aberdeen and Motherwell, the other 2 teams in the semis. And the Challenge Cup was Inverness winning the Championship and the Challenge Cup. With
Is it
3-0
double, yeah?
Walker.
How far did
Again,
Queens get one done? Did we discuss this one?
Yeah,
they
Inverness
got
beat
beat
them
by
out.
Inverness, yeah.
Fine.
No shame on losing to the winners.
Yeah, so that is that.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
We are now 5 years in the future. It is now 1st of June 2027, and Celtic are still Scottish Premier League champions, though there has, as you can see on the right-hand side, been a little Rangers championship in there as well to stop 4 in a row. Ross County finishing 3rd and getting a Conference League place, and a very close title race there. Rangers actually bottling it on the final day.
That happened in the first season as well, did it not? Or just about. They drew in
I
the
think
first.
there was 5 or 6 points,
It
but
was 5. Maybe it wasn't going down, but they definitely drew in the last game of the season and in the first season.
Rangers would have won that as well because they had a better goal difference. That is shocking behaviour.
Who's the gaffer?
We will have a look in a
Because
minute.
surely Mick Beale's still not in charge after losing.
Can confirm
that
Mick Beale is still in charge.
Oh jeez.
Johnny, the Americans captain.
Yes, he is. Robert, get your Wagner out. Some things still don't change. Look at that 15th place.
Dundee United's going down, down. Dundee United's going down. Or the other one I liked was get down, 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 down.
Dunfermline going down with them. Dunfermline obviously didn't start in this league. So if we have a look at Dunfermline, promoted here for 2 seasons, and then they have been relegated again.
that?
Kevin
Go back
Dabrowski.
Kevin Dabrowski.
Where was that?
I don't know.
Next screen,
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, there he is. Most player of the matches. So when your goalkeeper's got your most Premier League player of the matches, you know you're not very good. Dundee United then as well. Queen's Park and Ayr still in the league.
Before you move on, it's quite interesting to see the competition reputation.
Yeah, we've tanked, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've
Peaked in
absolutely
2023.
tanked.
Pretty much on par with the Israeli Premier League and the Sky Bet Championship.
This should be based on how well clubs do in Europe, I think. So I'm not entirely sure. I don't know how the reputation works, but we're not doing too well on this, and that's something we should maybe keep in mind. But Where else are we going with that? Ayr and Queen's Park still in the league. AR have just been there the whole time, kind of finishing about 10th and 11th.
Still got Lee Bowen as well.
They still do. Queen's Park now have Don Cowie in charge.
Jesus.
Have previously had Owen Coyle, who left to join St Johnstone and got sacked, and Craig Levine, who also left to go to Livingston.
Is Brendan Rodgers still the Celtic manager, or will it be?
It should have started with Ange, and it still is Ange.
Not fair.
Still got Yota as well, vice captain though.
And McGregor's still captain.
McGregor's still captain. Where else was going with that? Inverness, who got promoted, are still kicking about in that league as well.
Oh, not bad.
If we have a quick look at the past few years, who's been relegated, we've had, Rangers there, finishing second again, very convincingly that year, 19 points. St Mirren and Partick, so St Mirren going down, Partick going down. The year before, Cove make a surprise appearance.
Oh, because they got promoted.
Yes, they did. Sorry, this is the season. So Cove and Arbroath, they did. They got promoted. You're
they had one season, 2 seasons in there, and they got hollowed out.
And look who's there again, Robert. That was the season after we've celebrated that. If we go down, so 5 years' time again in the Championship. Cove are going back up again.
Only just
Queens are getting there.
Scored. They've won that title. Wait a minute. Cove have won the title by scoring 7 more goals than St Mirren.
Oosh.
And Wraith winning the playoff final. Queens are still just kicking about in the Championship.
Just doing what they do best.
We'll go back a few seasons and see if we've better 10.
Brecon and Montrose go in there. If we go back to the previous seasons, I'll go back to the one after where we stopped before. Queens finished 6th with Kelty, Hearts and Stirling in the league.
Just missed the playoffs.
We then finished 13th and had only 5 points off the bottom. Some nice tasty Dundee derbies in the Championship that year.
Yeah.
FC Edinburgh also fallen out of the league. And then a 12th. So we've not been doing too well.
Just mid-table.
Not at all. Down, if we look at the playoff final quickly, we had St Mirren beat Martha. So Wraith won that one, I believe. Yes, they did. Into what is the National League. A wee spoiler about the playoff final there. But that is the National League. We've got 2 Highland League teams in Wick Academy and Fraserburgh going back to the Highlands. Annan still not pulling up anything great there, are they? 13th.
Who's in charge of them?
Just enjoying their time, I think.
Daniel Bauer, whoever that is.
I think he used to be assistant.
There we go. I can look and tell you that Peter Murphy was sacked. Jason Dare then came in and was sacked. And Dave Mackay has been sacked. That is not the same Dave Mackay. That is one who was assistant at Dunfermline. Darvel finishing 3rd and losing the playoff final to Peterhead. Brora up there, Berwick are up there.
Just can we go back to the Queen's team and see what's saying there?
We can do. I was just going to say quickly, there's quite a few kind of Highland Lowland League teams kicking about in here now. We'll have a quick look in the Queen's team. Did you just want to see who was the team? So Callum Davidson is now manager.
Just want to see how much it's changed. Look at that, semi-pro now.
Semi-pro. We are now part-time.
That's sad.
That probably, with more prize money, that might be an error on my part. We should probably be expecting full-time teams in the Championship now, right? That is the team. Rudy Payton, still kicking about.
No, they're surprised at that.
Currently wanted by Wraith. Ross Monroe, Ross County player, or Ross County youngster, kicking about as well. Lee Connolly still up front. He scored 24 goals in 168 games. It's not great, is it? And Jack Bryden's still there as well. But beyond that, the rest of it, Michael Ruth's kicking about. Can you see anyone else there, Kyle?
No.
So that's that, and then just quickly for 5 years' time, we'll see who's coming into. So it's Inverurie Locals, who previously have gone up in 24-25. They are going into the National League.
And then
and the Lowland League. So yeah,
Don't be getting relegated again.
again, back up and
Must
back
have-
down.
Must have went up and then down again.
Fort William, for some reason, ending up in this league, which explains, and not the Highland League, which explains how broken the geography is. But a lot of these teams, so Cowdenbeath, Darvel, Berwick, East Stirling, and East Kilbride, have all kind of stayed there. And you've got Stranraer down in the Lowland League now, and Dumbarton there as well, actually.
Yeah. Big bank pushing up there.
Clydebank are pushing up. Let's just have a quick look at our Dumfries and Galloway things.
Still got Jamie
Finished.
Hamill.
They do still have Jamie Hamill somehow,
Unbelievable.
because they're in the Lowland League and not doing fairly well. If we, just for sake, Forfar now down in the Highland League as well there.
Keith.
So it's getting interesting, but it's not, there's been some nice shocks, but how are we finding it so far?
It's
Kinda-
interesting. It definitely seems like it's not like the same teams just dominating, apart from maybe Celtic and Rangers knocking them off once. But the other leagues seem very competitive, and it's very like some teams fluctuating. Here we go, 3 in a row. Finally.
Yes, as we can see, Rangers 3 in a row they are. After 4 Celtic titles in a row and 7 in the past 8 years, Rangers have won 3 in a row. I'll quickly show you, for Robert. It is still Michael Beale. They've showed some faith in him.
And Johnny. Big up Johnny.
And Johnny.
the American. Greg, go back to the main screen. Wee Bobby Wales, you like that name?
I will like that name. Bobby Wales from Hearts.
Alex Lowry's still there and all.
Yes, he is.
Hack Sabanovic.
Hibs and Motherwell in Ross County being kind of teams, and Aberdeen, the teams behind Rangers and Celtic. Hearts not doing so well.
Yeah, Hearts have been kind of inconsistent.
Dunfermline and Wraith again being relegated, so maybe they've gone up and down a bit. We're now 12th in the league, world. So we've gone up a bit from 17th, we've gone up to 12th now.
We're definitely better than the Turkish Super League.
But that's kind of where we are in real life. We're kind of on the fringes of the top 10 in real life, I believe.
St Johnstone
Queen's
picked up
Park.
6 injuries.
Yes, that's 6 as at present as well, not across the season, just now.
Oh, right.
At the end of the season, they've got 6 players injured. Queen's Park still in the league and now in the top half. And Ayr have disappeared.
They just folded.
If we have a look over the past couple of seasons, we've got there's Wraith, not Wraith, there's Ayr relegated last season. Cove with 2 wins across the whole year, so not very good. There's Rangers the season before as well, and Dunfermline. So Dunfermline in the past 3 years have gone
Dunfermline
down,
must be
up and down again. We can have a look. There you go. So they went up, had 2 seasons there, and then they've gone down, up, had a season there, and then they've gone down, up, down. They're becoming the yo-yo side under Jack Ross. Quick look at season 4. We're 10 years in now. I think I said that at the start. We didn't. If I didn't, sorry. We are now 10 years in. Dundee United going down, down again there. Down, down on goal difference. And this one, which I'm sure Robert will very much enjoy, of Rangers finishing 3rd in 27-28 and having still not sat Michael Beale.
St Johnstone going down.
St Johnstone going down and coming back up as well there, yeah. But that's very interesting. I'm sure you enjoyed that year, Robert.
It was a rough one, I'll tell you that for nothing. Hibs doing well though.
Hibs are doing very well, kicking about at the
Who's
very
the Hibs
top
manager?
of the league. Hibs manager is Liam Richardson.
So weird way of saying Liam.
I was going to say.
It is, formerly
Liam.
of Livingston. Wigan, Celtic under 19s assistant manager, Livingston and Hibs.
Wigan Athletic icon.
Yes. Where else where else was I going to look quickly? I was going to look at the Celtic manager. It's still Big Ange. Losing 3 in a row and he's still there.
Righty.
Into the Championship. So yeah, we can see some teams winning. Who's won the league there? I don't think anyone's won it twice, which
Oh, boo.
well, actually Dunfermline have in the
Just
past
seen Ayr
10
won.
years.
New winner.
They have. Ayr won the championship.
Jay Hogarth of Queen of the South goes the second most clean sheets with 10.
Yes, he is. Queen's finishing 6th this time in the Scottish Championship.
There's Fraser Murray now, getting most assists.
Yes, he is.
Oh, I missed that one.
East Stirlingshire, currently in the Lowland League in real life, now kicking about in the Championship.
Aidan Fitzpatrick, most player of the matches.
Yes, he is. This time playing for Arbroath, who finished 3rd. Queen's
There's-
top 6. What were you going to say?
Airdrie getting relegated again.
Airdrie relegated again. We can have a quick look at Airdrie over the past few years.
Rob
So
Broom.
they went, they got relegated in the first year, and then since going up, they had a highlight of finishing 5th, but they're doing all
Playoffs.
right under this regen manager. That is the playoffs, Kyle. You're right.
They're also semi-pro as well.
They are. I wonder if it's every team in this league is semi-pro. No, Ayr still are professional, and the United are professional. The two teams going up.
Check Falkirk.
Queens,
So they're a big team. They've not been up yet though.
yeah, they're professional.
Must just be random teams.
Must just be Queens. Cove are still semi-professional, and they've been in the Premiership. Bit weird. Anyway, Queen of the South. We don't have any more legends. Bit questionable.
He'll be getting taken off when his court case comes. Alan Johnson, legend.
Queens have not moved from the Championship, basically. We finished 2nd, so we might have to look at that season very quickly, because we finished 2nd and somehow didn't go up.
Must have bottled the playoffs.
So this is last year.
Pataudry.
We lost out. We've lost out. How did we lose?
In the final or in the semi?
We'll find out in a minute. I was going to say there, East Kilbride, another Lowland League team, making it up to the Championship.
Brecon still there as well.
Brecon's still there. It must have been the final, Robert. Beating Arbroath in the semi.
Does it tell you what the final is? Yeah.
There you go, losing 3-0 at Fir Park
Oh,
to Dunfermline.
that's a sore
For
one.
finishing 2nd, that's really sore.
It's terrible.
Let's have a look in the National League. Brora Rangers winning the National League. Berwick coming 2nd. Clyde there as well. I'll go back onto the other one so you can see it better. There you go.
I really like the Inverary locals name.
Inverary Locals, yeah. Lothian Thistle.
Oh, wait, really not really.
Also known as Hutchie Vale, for anyone who knows Edinburgh. Hutchison Vale, once described as Scotland's best youth academy. Going for the East of Scotland League, now in the National League, kicking about.
I'm looking at the player of the matches, the guy at top. Oh no, I thought it was Willie Gibson, sorry.
No, it's Willie Gordon from Berwick.
You're having an absolute nightmare today.
I get a regen from Motherwell. So yeah, some teams there you perhaps wouldn't expect. So Lothian Thistle being one from the West of Scotland League, Darvel being from the West of Scotland League, and Berwick almost getting promoted and mucking up the playoffs.
We
can now say that the third tier of Scottish football is on par with the first league in Azerbaijan. What were you going to say?
Third, fourth, and fifth are tied on points.
Yeah, and 3rd and 9th being separated by 3 points. That's some season.
Same year, 13th to 16th, all 4 points in it.
It is actually, and Forfar and Elgin returning down to the Highland Lowland League, which I'll have a look at quickly. Spartans somehow winning the Highland League. I think something's gone a bit wrong there for Spartans to win that. And Gala Ferrydean Rovers from Gala Shields also somehow in the Highland League. So I think something's definitely gone a bit wrong.
Sometimes it's to do with numbers and that in the league. So
it is. If we quickly look in the Lowland League, we've got Cumbernauld Colts. They are
Broomhill. I forgot about them.
Broomhill. They got promoted, so they've been promoted and then relegated again.
Wonder how Heston are getting on. And,
I'll have a quick look in a minute. Is there any? So Dumbarton still in the Lowland League. Stranraer still there, and Bonnyrigg there as well now.
Stirling Union are doing better after that first season.
They are doing better after the first season. East of Scotland League, nothing much happening. Heston are somehow now in the East of Scotland League. Don't know how they've ended up there.
Yes.
West of Scotland League, nothing that interesting happening.
Who's the manager? Really no telly for the slowdown.
They will do, but it'll just be some regen. It's Fraser Ogilvie, formerly of Girvan and Hurlford, an assistant at Stenhousemuir.
Oh, fair. I'm pals. Good pals with him.
RDI.
I think I've got him on Facebook.
Scottish Cup. Oh, it's a double for Rangers. It's a double for Rangers.
There's
Nice
Inverness
one.
winning it before Hibs.
Yes, it is Inverness winning it before Hibs. Scottish Cup now somehow ended up as the third most reputable cup in Europe. Again, I think something's gone wrong there.
That's on.
Rangers beating Queen's Park in the final.
Bosh.
And a classic Old Firm
Another
semi-final. It's
Old
good to know
Firm
some
semi.
things don't change. The Super Cup. So, we've had a Hibs win in the Super Cup.
It's the 8th best
But-
cup as well.
It's the 8th best cup. We've had a Hibs win, and then they've largely been Rangers and Celtic. The League Cup. Oh, we've had a Motherwell win against Livingston in the final there. But apart from that, it is just some Rangers and Celtic classic dominance.
Way better than the Carabao Cup. That's your dinner.
It
That's
is
the
doing
bonus
better than the
ball.
Carabao Cup. And then the Challenge Cup. Queens still haven't won that either.
Ooh.
We've got
Actually-
Wraith, Inverness, Queen's Park, Peterhead managing to win it, and Ayr, and Queens still haven't. And it's now better than the Papa John's Trophy, so it's safe to say Scottish football's not doing too badly.
And we can't beat the Pharaoh Cup though. That's our next goal.
That is our next goal. This being a neutral location as well. So Ayr beating Hamilton and Paisley. Last thing to check since we're 10 years in, how are Scotland getting on? We've got
That's what I
Albert
was gonna ask,
Capellas as manager. Calvin
Spanish.
Ramsey of Man City is our top player. So what happened to Stevie Clark? He resigned. He's retired.
That's good.
In
After
2028.
9 years.
After 9 years.
Classic Stephen.
Yes.
Where are we in the
There we go.
world?
Where are we in the world? We are 39th.
That's a load of hooey.
France first in the world. England third.
Switzerland up there, Norway,
Switzerland and Norway up there.
Jamaica.
Norway powered by Erling Haaland.
Jamaica.
Yeah. No, she went of her own accord.
That was poor.
I didn't hear what you said.
You don't want to.
I do though.
He's,
Um,
I don't know. You watch it back.
yeah.
Can't wait till Friday.
I might cut that bit out. So that's that for 10 years. Still going pretty well. Premiership looking strong. Some interesting findings down the league, but we're going to have a look at what happens after another 10 years.
Don't want to see it again. I've just looked at the screen.
How the turns have tabled, Robert. Rangers finishing fourth.
That's a sore one after. You're thinking
It's
like,
not-
we did 3 in a row and then look at the Celtic dominance now.
Well, we've had since it was more than 3 in a row as
Oh.
well. Look at that.
Oh, I
So-
forgot it was 10 years, wasn't it? Is that the most anyone's done?
Yeah,
Bosh.
that was
Is it
6
still
in a row.
Is it still Michael?
It's not. It's Moreno.
Where's Johnny?
Wait, was he the
Uh,
one the last time? Or I just imagined it.
He
Where's
wasn't.
Johnny the American?
Johnny's retired.
Oh,
And
Oh.
there's now a rivalry with Hibs. A rivalry with Hibs has appeared.
Nickname the Jers, the Teddy Bears. I'm gonna stop there.
Michael Beale didn't even get sacked. He resigned. He's now manager of Holland.
Wait a minute. Johnny's gone.
He left. To be fair, he left after losing 4 titles in 5 years. But still, you've got your mainstays there, don't you? There's no one really broken the top flight, have they? There's kind of who you'd expect
Hibs
to be.
still
There's
doing really well.
Dundee United. Hibs doing really well.
Only
Can we
3
have a look
points.
at Hibs, managed by Brian Kerr? So they've not won the Premiership at all. They've only came runner-up this year, but they've had a good few runs of third places, but not as many as you'd think, maybe. And they've won the Scottish Cup
4 times.
2, 3, 4 times. How Hibs fans might love that. And they've won a League Cup as well.
That's good. Good for them. Fair chuff for them.
Yeah, so Hibs doing really well. Hearts, on the other hand, not so well, managed by a South African. Hearts have still always been in the Premiership, which is good for them, but a high of third very early on, and it's not gone too well since then. Where else are we going to look? Is there anything interesting happening here?
Who's
How are
Celtic
Dundee
coach?
United doing? I'll do that first. It is now Matthias Jesle. Jota is a Celtic legend. There you go. He was manager of some teams in what looks like Austria. Red Bull Salzburg. So
And it was
that's
Leipzig
who
as
is
well.
there.
First.
Manager history. We've had,
Darren O'Dea.
Postecoglou retired as well. So Darren O'Dea took the reins for a whole 5 days while this guy was appointed. Dundee United, after going down, have stabilised and finished 4th at one point.
Yeah, I've seen enough of the Premier League. I don't want to see the table again.
There you go. I'll just leave it there. Anyone who wants to screenshot it, do it now. 2042. Get your bets put on for Rangers in 4th. Dunfermline were the other kind of yo-yo team going down again. Oh Christ, look at that. So we've got the Reds, obviously relegation. So we've got quite a lot of yo-yoing happening, basically.
Big traffic lights.
So if we have a flick back through some of these leagues, not all of them, I'll go very quickly. Hamilton, Livingston, Queen's Park finishing 3rd.
Blimey.
Conference
Good
League
for
them.
them. Ayr
Motherwell.
up and down again. Motherwell finishing 3rd. Rangers is dominant.
Second.
It's kind of, yeah.
Wow.
Oh yes, there's a Celtic finishing 3rd as well. Robert, you might want to screenshot that one. Though to be fair, it was only by a point.
Aberdeen going
Don't
9th to
care.
get in Europa League.
Yeah, so they must have won the Scottish Cup.
Easy.
Some others with kind of, it's largely the same teams at the top. Queen's Park, perhaps the other ones joining that top group of teams. But they've got quite a bit of money behind them. Into the Championship. There we go. Queens are still there.
Close to that relegation though.
Very
Not
close. 2
far
points
off
away
at
from that
all. 2
relegation.
points. And the goal difference wasn't significantly better. It was only by a few. Well, let's say a few.
Queens losing on the final day as well. So at least we know they weren't right the way in it.
Where was the Scottish Premiership ranked in the world again? I never looked first time.
We're now 8th.
Right.
So we're doing pretty well.
I knew that. I just
What's
wanted to look at the table again.
What's the top league?
I can't quite look at that. It's the Premier League. Premier League, Spanish League, Serie A. Nothing much has changed there.
Yeah.
Back to Championship. Who's still kicking about in there? Brecon are still there. Have they had a trip to the Premier League? They have. They finished 16th in 2037-38.
I think we're the only team in that league who's been in the Premier League yet over that time period.
Yeah, I think we're the only team who hasn't been.
All good fun though.
Yeah, East
think
Kilbride
part
now
counts.
kicking about in the Championship. Cowdenbeath and Brora there as well. Brora not anymore. Into the National League, we've got Forfar and Morton. Morton down there. Not a lot of.
No Annan.
Yeah, you're right. No Annan.
Airdrie going down as well.
Airdrie will be going to the Lowland League. So things really have changed now. Clydebank up there.
Spartans, Nairn County.
Let's go look at Clydebank. No, they've only been in the National League. Spartans, Nairn County. Lothian, Thistle, Hutchie Vale still there. Stranraer back up. It really has been a bit of a change. Partick were down there at one point because they won the league.
So in 2037 as well.
As were Queens. Queens must have been relegated at some point.
Oh well, we should won something.
Yes, we
AJ
were.
Flanagan.
We finished 16th. To be fair, we came straight back down and won the league. Do we have any new legends? No.
Of course not.
We've got Connor Maley, this guy, who also played for Ayr, so I don't know why he's a Queen's legend. We've got Luke Bruce.
This was
Roger Anderson Sheriffs.
He sounds good.
Yeah, he scored 32 goals in 236 games.
He was a midfielder though, so cut him some slack.
That is fair, I will cut him some slack.
or
Anything
wait,
else interesting happening here?
is he a wing back?
Ooh.
Reference
Controversy
to
from last week. Broomhill have been up and back down again. Genefield Swifts of Perth up and back down again. I was quickly going to find the league where Queens ended up there. There we go. There's Queens. Berwick getting promoted
Annan.
with Queens that year to the Championship, and that was the
Annan went
same
down.
year Annan went down with Darvel. Annan going down on goal difference there.
The Solway bragging rights go to Queen of the South that season.
I think they do. Into the Highland League. Bonnyrigg Rose and Kelty somehow there. Don't quite know how that's happened. And Trinent. But we've got Kelty, Bonnyrigg, Elgin as the 3 teams down there.
Thanks, OD. Just chilling.
Yeah. Wowen League, Annan, yeah.
Just Blackburn, sure.
Annan Berwick down here after a stint in the Championship. St Cuthbert winning no games.
God.
That's the sort of one.
Fantastic for them. I'm just trying to see if anyone else has been down who's been interesting. Not really. East of Scotland League, just seen if anyone interesting's won it. Not really. West of Scotland League. Dumbarton were down in the West of Scotland at some point.
Holy moly.
Holy guacamole, you're right.
Which isn't great for them. South of Scotland.
Walker Thistle, isn't it?
Yeah, they are. Heston aren't there though, so I'll have to find them.
They were up last
They're
two.
still in the East of Scotland League.
James Bill.
There you go. They've just sat there, mate. They had a year not doing too well, but they're on the rise.
Well, good to see. Great to see ya.
I'm just seeing if there's anyone else who's been down. Not in this league. Not in this league.
Loch Ness.
Not in this league. Loch Ness doing all right, aye.
Loch Ness Monster.
Anyway, so the Scottish Cup, we've still got some Premiership dominance, it seems. 3 Rangers in a row, 5 Rangers in 6 years.
Couple of Hearts.
A single Heart, 2 Hearts, 2 Hibs, a Celtic.
Hibs, if you go further down, Hibs.
Yeah. A Scottish Cup that is now 2nd most reputable in the world. So Scottish football's doing well.
Definitely.
Behind the English Cup, Rangers winning that on penalties. The Super Cup, not so much Celtic dominance. There's some Rangers there. Celtic beating Hibs this year, isn't it? The Viaplay Cup. Oh, we've got a St Mirren win against Inverness in a final there, but again, largely kind of old firm, kind of top, the new kind of top 6 kicking about. And the SPFL Trust Trophy, have Queens managed to do it? No. Cowdenbeath have, Montrose have, Brora have. Queens haven't. How awful. So I think that's it, unless we want to dive into anything further.
I was going to say, go into the Queens one and check like their trophy count and see how they've actually done with anything like finals or whatever.
I shall do.
It's just league that year they won it. The National League.
There you go. So yeah, we've got a National League win. We've got a Championship runner-up.
That's it.
Trust Trophy runner-up into this. Oh, that was before we started this. That was
before we started this.
I just seen it.
Yes.
Enjoy it. Wait, go back. No, don't matter.
I was going to say, have we been to the playoffs again? We finished 4th at one point, so we were back in the playoffs at one point. We finished 4th twice. 5th once. So we've not been awful.
No.
I've got one more. It's the Scotland team.
Yeah, we'll have a quick look at that in a minute. I was just going to see if Queens ended up in a final again. That's the season we spoke about. 4th there. Where's the other year we finished 2nd? I can't find the other year we finished 2nd. There's a 4th. We've basically been chilling in the Premiership for a while. Championship for a while. Yeah, so the last thing, I'm going to cut the Queens bit. The last thing is obviously the Scotland team. So Scotland are 25th in the world.
Getting better.
And our most reputable player is someone known as Lyle Tosh, who plays for Real Madrid.
Son of Stephen.
Maybe.
That's Real Madrid, sure.
Previously of Queen's Park, Man United loaned to Queen's Park, Aston Villa, and Real Madrid. 119 goals in 302 games is pretty damn good, though. We've also got a Rooney of Hearts. Hearts are loyal, it seems, having been there for 13 years.
I scored many goals for you in the attacker, but
We've got a Lewis McKenzie, who started out at Kilmarnock,
Benfica for a year.
and then Man City. And here's the other one, Jordan Ross, who's scored 126 goals in 327 games in his career, which started at Aberdeen and went to Spurs.
We spelled it
Perhaps
by
son of Jack?
maybe.
I sadly cannot find that out. The other question, have Scotland done anything to say they might have won a trophy? We've won the Under-20 World Cup last year and came runner-up in 2039.
Runner-up in the under 19 championship as well.
Yeah. Scottish football is looking good. How have we done it at the World Cups? So 2042, we're going into a World Cup with games against Mexico and Algeria, because it's obviously the new format, including one at Eric Cantona Park, which is in Lille.
Lol.
Previous Euros, that's not great. Losses to Poland, England, and a draw with Austria, getting us knocked out there.
Big win against Lithuania in a friendly, though.
Oh, I know. Didn't qualify for the 2038 World Cup.
Bring back Stephen Clark.
Despite only losing one game in qualifying, oh no, 2 games in qualifying, the 2 games to Spain.
I enjoyed our
We've got
7-0
the
win over
revenge.
Liechtenstein.
Euros in 20... Oh, we made the Euro semi-finals in 2036.
Until France got one this and then gave us a right scene.
They really did. Yeah, we lost to Turkey in the group stages, still got through, beat Slovakia and then Belgium. And then, yes, lost in Bari to France. Quite convincingly, it must be said.
We were winning that, interesting.
2034, we got to the World Cup third round, where we got beat by Italy and China.
80,000.
Including wins over Syria and Uruguay. Hope things are going better for you, Syria. 2032, Euro second round again, beaten by our old enemies France at the Emirates.
Only beat Kosovo, that's terrible.
Yep.
Another win over Lithuania, just to rub it in.
Didn't qualify for the 2030 World Cup.
I enjoyed when North Macedonia got a goal against us.
We lost 2 goals to Portugal. That's a pretty shocking Euros again in 2028, losing to Denmark. Drawing with Denmark, losing to Poland and losing to France.
Sick of France.
I'm sick of France and I'm sick of Mbappe. We lost that game in Gran Canaria after playing the previous game 4 days before in Barcelona. That's what I'm blaming it on. I'm blaming it on the flight. Didn't qualify for the 2026 World Cup, so don't book your tickets to America yet, lads. How did we do in qualifying? We lost to Belgium, we lost to Slovakia, and Belgium again. But losing to Japan at a friendly in Rugby Park is pretty rough.
God's sake.
How did we do at next year's Euros? We didn't qualify, we lost in a playoff on penalties against Bulgaria.
Bloody Bulgarians.
On that awful omen, we're going to end looking at Football Manager. And we're going to go back to some of our reflections on how this has gone.
You ever played Omen?
We're back to being on the big screen now. Yeah, so that was a kind of whirlwind tour over how many years was it? 20 years?
20 years.
How our Reconstruction Scottish League format would work. So basically, conclusions, there's no easy fix. I mean, there's always going to be a hurdle anyway you go. But
based on that,
yeah,
as a Queen's fan, we've lost 1 playoff final, at least. We've been in the playoffs like 3 times in 20 years. We've been relegated once and we've been promoted once. Is that better than now?
Good question.
A lot of things stayed the same, but a lot of things changed.
Yeah, a lot of things have stayed the same. You've still got Celtic and Rangers at the top of Scottish football, obviously both finishing below second at least once in that. I don't want to remind Robert of them finishing fourth again.
Like the lower leagues had different, like a lot of different teams.
And that's kind of what we wanted out of this, didn't we? We wanted some of the lower teams to have opportunities, and some of them did really well. You know, you had East Kilbride in the Championship. I think you had Berwick up there at one point.
Queen's Park didn't really get relegated much, if at all. I can't right mind.
I think Queen's Park got relegated once and came straight back up.
But they stayed there for the duration. Ayr did quite well.
But the other end of that is that you still get those yo-yo teams, and in 1 up, 1 down, or sorry, two up, 2 down, that's more extreme. You know, there is still a chasm between the Dunfermlines of the world and other teams in the Championship. You know, Dunfermline have been... if I find the proper stats, I'll put them in the comments in this video, but I think Dunfermline got promoted or relegated in about half of those 20 seasons.
It was just like up, down, up, down, up, down. It was like a bloody heart rate monitor.
Yeah. And it's important to get this right. If Scottish football does change, and we think it perhaps needs a change, we don't want to be doing it again in a few years. There's significant downside, especially for that group in League Two at the minute, if we get this wrong.
Yeah, like it's never going to be perfect, but I think what we propose would be an improvement on it. But obviously, there's probably still different ways you could go about doing it. So
it's just our opinion. There's hundreds of other opinions on it.
It shouldn't be rushed. It shouldn't be rushed, but definitely it's addressed.
Exactly, and we need to, lots of things that have been done in Scottish football recently, thinking of the B teams and proposals to do with that, have been done to benefit the big clubs. Even look at the playoff structures. They've been done to benefit the current insiders. And we need to look at what's best for Scottish football as a whole.
Yeah.
Look at Rangers' tantrum. We're pandering to the big clubs, and we need to kind of, the funds, which if anyone is really interested in how I did the funds, because that might influence how things happened. If you're that much of a nerd, message one of us and I'll send you how I did the funds. I think everyone gets at least, the bottom of League Two gets the same. Some Premiership clubs lose out, but lots of people get more money because I've been like Robin Hood and took it off Rangers and Celtic, basically, which they wouldn't be happy with, but we should be going back to them with, but you've got the Champions League money, shut up.
Exactly, you've got even the playing field.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all agree that something needs done. So, yeah.
That's it. We hope you enjoyed this.
In reflection, that's went well. I hope you have enjoyed it.
Interesting,
thank you.
To say the least.
A big thank you to Gregory for all his effort on that. He was the football manager man, the pro, so he's sorted all that. But yeah, that was his contraption, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
Invention.
If you have enjoyed this, there are other ideas of what I think we could do in Football Manager, so we'll keep that open.
It's always interesting to look in the future.
It is.
Yeah, we can look back and see. So yeah, give us a like because this took a lot of effort. Give us a subscribe if you haven't already done it. But yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching.
And if you are new to us, we apologise for Kyle's patter.
Yeah.
Just mine's anybody's.
That's a given. We should maybe make a disclaimer. I don't know.
Just mine's. I forgot you're used to pure. I'm not biting.
That's just summarise Greg's point. Right. See you later. Bye.
See ya. Bye.